You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Because you can handle the truth.
Listen to me very carefully.
You are listening to the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. How's baby?
My mission is to go and destroy and not to let anything get involved. You get punched, you get hurt. I refuse to be hurt, knocked down, and knocked out. I can't lose. I refuse to lose.
He's been mentioned as a possible opponent.
I take all comers. I don't duck any man.
Can we assume that Michael Dokes is one of the prospects?
All comers. Come one, come all. Because nobody can get close to me. They're not even close. I'm the best fighter in the world.
Okay, yes. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. I'm here with my co-host, Kristen D. Manners. I believe Will is still on vacation. And we have a guest here with us today, who is on our Skype. It's just a radio show, by the way. It's not
okay.
a TV show.
Hello,
yes, Timothy Costello. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
Oh, just coasting through.
All right.
how are you?
Hi, Christian. I'm doing well.
Good. It's good to hear you. I'm glad you were able to be on the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome.
So, Tim, you have been a guest on our TV show Targeted, which the episode had not been released yet. There's a lot of episodes that have not been released because, well, we've got to get some people to do some extra work on those for us, because being targeted individuals and being in media, and especially doing things independently, there's a lot of government sabotage, a lot of government hacking, where the feed is destroyed, sounds destroyed, things like that. Cover-up methods.
Yes, there is. I worked radio for a number of years, so I'm well aware of what they do in communications.
Yeah, it's sickening, because there's just not too many ways that you can actually complain about it. It's just, network error, or maybe it's your ISP. It's just that garbage, that level of garbage, where it's like, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
This is censorship. Using error as censorship. And that sort of thing is ridiculous, because you can have someone with a nonsense show just talking about stupid stuff that doesn't pertain to anything, like entertainment, whatever. They'll have perfect feeds all the time.
Yeah.
But when you have people talking about real issues, especially things pertaining to secret government, your feed gets real choppy, and your video gets real choppy, and that is, ridiculous. Yeah. So you're on the radio show today. What did you want to talk about?
Well, at PAX International and Targeted Individuals Association and SHSA, we got a bunch of stuff going on, including what you'll really like this, public service announcement operation that I just put together, to where we're going to, as you know, in radio stations have to have PSAs. Public service announcements that they read once an hour to keep for the radio station to keep their broadcast license. Mm-hmm. So I had the idea we'll write up a few PSAs, and they have to be rotated through every day. And we're in the process of recruiting targeted individuals in every city that we can find targeted individuals in. Where every 30 days I give them updated PSAs They put them on 3x5 cards and run them around to the radio stations. It's already up and running on every radio station in 2 cities. I got 2 15-second PSAs and 2 30-second PSAs. And they're up and running in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and in a little city in Florida. We're having another call Tuesday night where we're recruiting people to help us recruit targeted individuals in every city. And I figure it's going to take about a year to get this operation up and running, really well. But our ultimate goal is to have PSAs being read on every radio station in every city in the nation. Now, we'll probably never reach that goal, but we're going to get as close to it as we possibly can. And once we get that running, we're going to get PSAs running in print media. Places like Wired Read, we're going to try to send some to, and other alternative and mainstream print media, newspapers, and get our PSAs running every month. After that, in about a year from now, we're looking for some funding, and we're going to try to expand that into TV PSAs, where we'll find a celebrity. Because there are a lot of celebrity TIs, Stephen Shellen, and there's a guy that's been in 50 movies. He's a big ski star winner. He's a TI and has been in contact with PAX International, and he's willing to do PSAs for us. So we're going to look for celebrities to do the TV PSAs.
Are you talking about Stefan?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in contact with him as well.
Oh, good. We're going to hopefully get him or somebody like him or Stephen Shellen or because there are so many celebrity targeted individuals, they just don't want to come forward because they're afraid it's going to hurt their career. Like Brittany Murphy was a TI.
Brittany Murphy. Now,
yeah.
I always thought something was really wrong, really weird with her situation. I never got any specifics on that. Can you expound upon that?
Sure, absolutely. Brittany Murphy, she would express what was happening to her as a targeted individual, and she lost a bunch of movie roles to people saying she's crazy because she was saying what was going on in her life. She was talking about being a targeted individual, and she lost several movie roles all in a row. And then she married that prince in Europe. And now, when Brittany Murphy died, they did toxicology on her, and they found all sorts of lethal levels of I forget what the substances were. I never wrote them down. But they found lethal levels of chemicals or mineral, I forget what it was, but lethal levels of heavy metals in her body. And 6 months after she died, her husband, who was also a young person, died of basically the same stuff. It's basically poisoning. But she was vocal about being a targeted individual, and being Brittany Murphy and the wife of a prince in Europe, she had a platform to where people were starting to listen to her. And the evidence done through the actual medical test suggests. Just flat out state she was killed through heavy metal poisoning that took place over a 6-month period. And then her husband died of the same thing because she was being vocal about targeting, mind control, psych warfare, and people were starting to listen to her.
Absolutely. Okay. I was wondering about that because Brittany Murphy was a very smart person, and I didn't really see it like the drug type to me, and they wanted to paint her as a drug addict, but yeah.
They have the standard scripts for TIs. Let's paint them as a drug addict, a wife beater, a pedophile, a murderer. The basic psych warfare scripts and propaganda scripts they run. They ran those on Brittany Murphy, too.
Yes. Well, they're definitely trying to run them on Ashley Ann Wood, the Hollywood actress I had on my show recently.
Okay.
I know for a fact that she's not a drug addict, so they're trying to just torture the hell out of her, and she has finally gotten away from her parents, who are the worst people in the world to be with, because her father's a psychologist.
Oh,
yeah. So he's condemning her and has basically kept her prisoner in her bedroom and not having any access to any technology or to talk to any people. She would have done several follow-up shows with me, but she was not able to. And just so where she could be tortured in silence and no one would ever know anything. She's already attempted suicide twice.
Oh, no.
And no one would know any better because her father's kept everything under wraps for the sake of, I guess, keeping the reputation of the family clean. And no, he's dealing with it. And I've had to sit there and yell at this man, tell him he doesn't know a damned thing about psychology, pseudoscience anyways. I told him,
right.
I started telling him about neuropsychology and the technology that it takes to actually know if something's wrong with someone, and that he's too stupid to get access to any of it. And lo and behold, she did get away from him for a few days, like I suggested, and she felt so much better because she had sympathetic people around her. And when you have sympathetic people around you, they don't torture you as much. So,
yeah, they had when I was living alone. They did V2K and from transmitters a heck of a lot louder and a lot more people. Now, I've been a TI for 10 and a half years, and the first 8 years, they had like 13, 14 people having at me 24/7, and it's since scaled back to about 5 or 6. It's still 24/7 hitting me with, the tech weapons, the harassment. Well, you know how this sort of thing works. But they have been intensifying it lately because I've, even at 58, I just started college, and I'm getting a bachelor's degree in intelligence analysis, which I'm going to use to advance the war that we're fighting back, the agenda for TIs. I need to find out the mind of my enemy.
That's always a great place to start.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, and so I do believe that, we have about 5 more minutes in the segment. When we come back from the segment break, I want to hear your PSAs, but
Absolutely.
Kristen, did you have anything that you wanted to ask? You still there?
Yeah, I am. I was just listening to Tim because, one of the things that I've always been curious about is, Tim, how long ago did you say that your targeting has started?
I've been a TI for 10 and a half years.
And refresh my memory, what did you think was the origin, or why did you think that you are a target?
I had absolutely no idea what was going on until about 3 years ago. I had no experience with psych warfare, mind control, gang stalking, anything. I had absolutely no clue what was happening to me. Although I knew two of the people doing it because I recognized their voices. I went to high school with one of them. He's a local police officer. And if you want to know why targeting on me and my daughter and niece started, was 42 years ago, this police officer who's a gang stalker, it was in high school. And we graduated high school, and his fiance went over to my brother's house right before, right after his wife left him, and it was right before she got married. And to tell you the truth, she was a good Christian girl, but she was a woman, and she wanted to experience making love with somebody before she got married because she was the type of woman that was always going to be faithful. So she was young and she wanted, on the side just once. And she slept with my brother, and he found out about it. And when he became a police officer and became a gang stalker, what he did, instead of just accepting the fact that a woman, just like a man, sometimes doesn't always do the right thing. And so what he did was he attacked my niece Gina. They put her in the gang stalking program, targeted me, put me in 24/7, and then targeted my youngest daughter, who at the time was about 13 years old, and they raped her mind. They raped my niece's Gina's mind and body, and have been waging mind control and psych warfare on me ever since. This cop is he's a
Well, what
a
about
classic,
your brother?
He's
What
a
about your
classic
brother?
psychopath. My brother's in Texas, so he decided he would attack innocent people and put us in a targeting program just because he's a psychopath, and his ex-wife slept with somebody before they got married.
Now let me
My family
jump
are
in here. Let me jump in here. I'm not going to debate with you whether or not this cop was a psychopath or not. Most police officers are some borderline type personalities,
There you go.
which are great order followers who like to chase power. Now, this situation, because you already have a preconceived notion in your head of who is bad and who's good. Now, you want to talk about scripts. These people will modulate people's voices that you know because they have an influence on you, and that is where you place the blame. So they get away with it scot-free. For example, there is no one. These people tried to get me to believe several things when they started the V2K. It's aliens. No, don't think so. We're angels. No, I don't believe in that. Oh, we're God. I think it's a little bit too busy to talk to me. Then they start doing the Obama voice thing. Yeah, get the hell out of here, Obama. It's like, okay, they finally broke down. It's like, look, we're the NSA. This is what we want you to do. There was no one I held in high enough esteem for them to play it off on. I didn't, because I take care of my problems. If I had a problem with somebody, I take care of it. I have no bullies in life because I tend to take care of them too.
Yeah, I go right at bullies.
And so the only people's voices they can even use on me were my dead father's voice, and my mother, who's sickly, in a nursing home. Sometimes my sister's voice, which she's busy with their family somewhere, and then my brother's voice, who's in jail. They didn't have any other people to emulate. Those are the top influential people that they could use. So I know it's not them.
Colin Powell and Hillary Clinton on me.
Well, point is, that's not.
Now you can forget about going to the amusement park.
Keep it real. Take. You are listening to the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. How's it, baby?
Okay. So we're back from break. This is our shorter segment, and I just want to finish my point as we were going into break there. TIs will hear those recognizable voices, and this is what they project into your head, and that is so that the NSA can skip the blame, push off the buck to somebody else, because it serves their agenda. They stay in the dark, and let's say you would get extremely pissed off. You go get a gun, you go kill a cop, or you go kill whoever you think is responsible. That serves their agenda. Depopulation, gun control, and more people in the psych wards.
Yeah.
Okay? So, when you're talking about intelligence analysis, this is what it is. You got to see this for what it is, and not to downgrade what happened to you, your daughter, your niece. I'm pretty sure everything that you said happened to them actually happened to them, but the people who are responsible is different from whom you're placing all the sin on. That was the only point I was getting at. So I want to go through your PSAs. Did you have those?
Yeah, I got them right in front of me. You want to hear them?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay, I got two 30-second and two 15-second ones so that they can be rotated through. Here's the 30-second ones. During the summer of 2017, reports began to surface that our diplomats in Cuba, then later China, were under covert attack by microwave weapons or directed energy weapons. In truth, however, there has been a growing number of citizens worldwide who are also victims of this crime. If you or someone you know is also experiencing covert microwave attacks, please call PAX International at 1-888-639-5559. My other 30-second one goes, most people have heard of single stalking, where one person is stalked and surveilled by one other person. However, there is now a growing criminal activity called group stalking or gang stalking, where teams of people stalk and harass a single individual. If you or someone you know is experiencing this type of crime, please call PAX International, and then the number again. And the two 15-second ones, I had to condense real quickly. If you are a victim of group stalking or gang stalking, where you are being stalked and harassed covertly by teams of people unknown to you, you are not alone. Please call PAX International. And then the last one's only about 10 seconds. If you are experiencing microwave or directed energy weapons attacks, you are not alone. For more information, call PAX International and the 888 number. So we got them running in two cities at every radio station, and of course, like I said earlier, the ultimate goal is to get them running in every city in America.
Okay. Well, how about one that actually gives people the actual gist of what's going on? Let's say.
What do you got? Because we gotta rotate these and replace these every 30 days. So I'm open to suggestions.
Let's say the government is using the tactics of InfraGard on the public to combat what they call terrorism against innocent civilians.
Okay. Combat terrorism against innocent civilians.
Let's place the blame where it's at. It is the government with the InfraGard.
I want to I love the InfraGard idea. I want to do the community placing, InfraGard, and what are those centers where people sit there in front of their computers and target everybody?
That's just your cyber command people.
Yeah,
this is literally military.
I'm with you, brother. We need to address every one of these, and because this is going to be a long-term, always going on operation, growing and expanding as we go, we're going to be able to cover every topic that we want. Matter of fact, I wouldn't mind coming up and getting together with somebody else with experience in broadcasting, like yourself and Christian. We got Derek, Derek Robinson also used to be in radio. I wouldn't mind, because every 30 days we have to update these and take new ones to every radio station, and then print and TV. But any idea in every area we are going to be able to cover. And when we think we finally covered them all, there'll be new ones to cover. And we can always, start back at the beginning. So I am completely open.
Okay. And we'll work with you on those. But we'll be back. This short break.
All right.
Listening to the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. House baby. Keep it real. Take a red pill.
Okay, we are back. And we still have Timothy Costello here with us. And, you were speaking about PAX International.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to get something an official partnership going on with them. I know Derek Robinson runs the group, but I want to talk about Derek Robinson.
I'm on the board, I'm on the board of PAX International. So if you want to get an official thing going with us, that would be great.
I've also been in contact with Derek several times.
Well, what I'm not liking, though, is how, and I've seen this online, why is Derek not speaking so much online? There are a lot of trolls coming about, attacking TI leaders who are doing their work in the real world, but they're not very present online. And they're being slandered all over the place. It enrages me. There's always someone talking about, well, Derek, mole Egypt here, and then, and I've seen it all over the place. And I know it's not real.
Well, I think I actually know the answer to that question according to the email that I received from Derek. He is actually working on a project. And so he is involved in that and not doing much else. Because the email that I received was trying to obtain information for this project. So I believe that he's absorbed in that, is my understanding.
Yeah, there's more than one project. He does do a couple conference calls a week, and then there's the board meeting every week, and he's dealing with this land project we got going on right outside of Barstow, California, where we're buying 2.5 acres of land, and we're putting 10 tiny homes on it, and then going to expand from there. There's going to be a TI community, and that's just one of the projects we're currently dealing with. Also, we're putting together two tech groups. one in LA and one in South Florida. Now, we've paid for two of our tech, Josh Spivey, the head of our tech department at PAX International. And if you guys don't know Josh, you should get to know him. He's a real whiz on the tech stuff. But he's head of our tech department. Him and Matthew out of LA, we're sending through a course in Canada where they're going to get certified to read the scans to detect implants. Also, RF frequency finding, the whole thing. We're putting together a couple tech units. Now, this takes money and raising money and courses. I'm going to different training in schools to get certified. And Derek's, out there every day making this happen. Matthew and Josh, they go through in this month, as a matter of fact, and we hope to within a year. Now, I can't guarantee this, but and this is one of the things Derek is out there really working his butt off trying to make happen. We hope to within about a year have 2 tech units, one on each side of the country, that will scan for implants, scan your place of living and business for RF frequencies, triangulate microwave attacks and DEW attacks being waged upon you. We have a whole plan here. And Derek's out there trying to make it happen. And this is not easy to make happen.
Well, let me say here that I hate to say this, but you guys are chasing after the cart, and this driven off. I don't personally see this doing anything beneficial because we're already being set up with so many frequency technologies around us, the cell phones, the Wi-Fi. They're going to blanket everything with the 5G. So readings are not going to help anybody because this is pretty much going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah,
now,
some of the
something that you can do.
Some of them won't. You're right about that.
Something you can do. You're talking about tiny homes and things like this. We have a design for a tiny home.
Who does?
That would actually block all the frequencies.
You heard about that paint out of that Japan university, right? That blocks the RF.
It's not paint. This is something far more technological. Now, I'm hoping to get some business partners in with my idea here, but it's going to be an eco home.
Okay.
Now, this eco home, it is, as much as the materials would cost to do it, to have this thing made, it should be comparable to that of an actual house or a tiny home because these things have to be constructed. With my idea, it's cheaper because it can be done in a mold. One mold and shipped out in one day. These houses, you got to have construction crews. You got to pay them, and then this material is going to not block anything. It's going to degrade over time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My idea for this eco home would make it weatherproof, earthquake-proof, et cetera, et cetera. And I would like to get some dialogue started up with you guys about this. If you get a big enough undertaking to get the patent for this, to help me with the patent, and I have tons of home builders, manufacturers who should be on the up and up and want to be involved in this. So it's something to think about.
Actually, it is something to think about, and if you can come up with some figures for me, it's something I can present to the board and then bring you onto a board meeting. So, given our out there getting donations and stuff, this is something actually that PAX might be able to do. So if you can get me that information, I'm perfectly happy to present it to the board and then bring you on to present it.
Well, I'm definitely looking at the avenues to make this thing happen, because the thing about this, we cannot advertise it as something that blocks all frequency communication. This is actually something that would have to be presented as an eco home, something that could be eco-friendly and actually cost-effective, and that sort of thing. Real estate would be broken down to affordable pieces of land, this sort of thing, because it's sort of around the same ideology of, let's say, aircraft carriers, battleships. Okay, there's a room in each one of those battleships where the admiral, the admiral, and let's say a president would fly in, or some other commanders would fly in. They would have meetings in these rooms that are 100% spy-proof. Electronic capabilities cannot penetrate it. So it's based off the same idea, except for made into a home.
Really?
Yes.
That's extremely interesting.
Because, well, there's no way we're going to be able to track down and triangulate the signals and who's being harassed by what. It's going to create a cluster F. and it's just, it's not going to do anybody any good. Nobody's going to be able to get into a courtroom. It's going to get thrown out. I say cut it off at the head. Take away the capabilities altogether. No one's going to have to worry about it.
Okay, and there's more than one avenue to do this. The University of Tokyo has just created, and they're about to offer commercially, a paint that will block frequency. I think currently it's up to 500 megahertz. But of course, it was at 400, it's already at 500, and they're going to make it higher. So there's more than one avenue. And a combination of all these avenues and different countermeasures, I think, is going to be, for one thing, they keep getting cheaper, and more countermeasures keep coming out. And if we can get a good mix of these countermeasures, because different TIs by this one or that one, and one of the things I would like to do in the future is start doing like a Consumer Reports. Consumer Reports magazine, right?
Right, and I see where you...
On countermeasures.
I would see... I see where you think this would be helpful, but it's not going to block scalar syntax telepathy. It's
not going to block everything, but it will block some stuff. So
it'll be for general health.
Not 100%.
It could be for a general health, so that your kids don't turn out to be mutants, that sort of thing, with all this 5G going around.
Right.
But then again, you're also going to have to make sure you are sealed. That means Windows and all that too, for it to be effective. Around the seals. According to the University of Tokyo, to receive cell phone service, if you paint your house with this paint, you have to open the front door so that some kind of film for the windows. I'm not sure about the film, exactly how it works, but for you to use your phone at that point, you have to open the door so the signals can come in. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
One of the many countermeasures that are becoming available and becoming cheaper and now if you think about it just commercially for a second, you think about if we can get that paint that blocks 5G, we could sell that everywhere and use that money to pursue other countermeasures for against mind control psych warfare, and shielding against targeting.
Well, my idea for this eco thing,
I
want
like
to
the
have,
idea.
I want to have, especially just one of them made, and I want to get the help of the universities and anybody else that we can powwow with on this, and have it as the first TI clinic, because that will be the proving point for anyone
about the clinics opening? There's I forgot all about this. There's a couple things I need to tell you after you're done.
Well, yeah, I do know about the idea of opening up some TI clinics, but they're not going to be effective unless they have a controlled environment where they could say, okay, it's possible to be targeted here, but not here. And that's why I want to bring in my idea with this containment area where there's not going to be any V2K, any synthetic telepathy. I want to add that in as the TI clinic portion of this.
Great idea.
It'll be proven. So we can say, we can get all the documentation, we have all the doctors to take the readings. Oh, they are different before and after they come into this thing. And that'll be a proof that will change and rotate everything. Now, we have to be careful after that. They're going to try to assassinate us and try to stop these things from being made and put everywhere else. But this thing should be standard in hospitals. And they're going to try to write it off as, oh, well, this person is just electrosensitive or signal sensitive and it's making them crazy and giving them delusions.
Right.
I
read about the sensitivity to frequencies. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That's going to be their out. That's how they're going to run away from this stuff.
Yeah.
And we're able to finally prove that they are beaming voices into our heads. They're just going to say, oh, well, the signals just made them delusional. And we'll stop it. Whatever. They're going to try to find some cowardly out where they're going to lie.
Of course.
But that was my plan for this stuff. And I want to get some groups together and see what we can do as far as resources, come up with if PAX wants to put their name on it and get a movement behind it, not just a movement, but universities, different businesses in line to make some products to do this, then we've got our out. We've got our own out.
Yeah, I definitely want to get a store going on PAX International where we hook up with these other sites doing this stuff and with you doing this stuff and get all this out there. So we would be receptive.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
All right.
Kristen, are you still there, Kristen? I think she may have dropped out. Okay.
Christian, are you there? I like Christian so much. I got to meet her in person finally at the Sacramento rally, and I was very impressed with her as a person and her knowledge of targeting.
Yes, well, she's a very impressive woman, and,
yes,
and I'm glad you got to meet her. Did you? And since you're bringing that up, I have to bring up this perp, Robert Stanton. And
Stanton, I calmed that down at the rally. It was blowing up. I calmed it down.
We're actually going to take a little commercial break. I want to get that when we come back.
You're listening
squeeze this in before the end of the show here. We've only got 10 minutes. So this fraud, this perp, Stanton, what do you think about him? Because he disrupted the whole thing, the whole...
Right. But you know what happened? When I asked him to calm down, he did. So I got to give him that.
Well, he knows that he was outnumbered. He knew that we stopped him from selling his fraudulent little helmet. He knew to... I mean, I did see the video, but he had to be shut up several times during Kristen's speech. And that was very distasteful. For someone claiming to be a TI and to wanting to help the TI community, he just perked the whole thing.
All right. Let me tell you what happened.
Unfortunately, something new happened today with this issue. I just haven't had a chance to speak to you about it, V.
Okay.
I had gotten a message from somebody, and they said that a woman had started to speak to them about somebody that had sold them an apparatus for targeting and had told them that they guaranteed them that this piece of equipment would stop their targeting, had guaranteed them that. And I guess this individual had paid $400. It sounds like either once or several times. They had sent payments about 3 or 4 times in the mail. I have the screenshots of the conversation, but...
And let me guess, it's not working for her.
Well, it never did work, and she continued to send money either to get it or to make payments, and she finally said to this person that it was Robert, and indeed it was Robert once again. And so I haven't said one word about this situation. That's just it. I had kept quiet, from the onset. I had tried to go to him and even say, hey, what's wrong with you? What happened to your personality? What has happened to you? And he just went on full attack on me from Jump Street. But here's the deal. Here is yet another person that has come forward saying that this does not work. And he had... After spending hundreds of dollars. Her, and she had to send these payments to him. And he did not produce a product for her. And it's like, what else is it going to take to get everybody to comprehend that this is a fraudster, that this guy is targeting targets to make money on a product that doesn't work? He's a scam artist. Okay.
Well, this is something we're going to have to revisit. And Tim, you're definitely welcome to join us on this issue. We definitely need to get all the TIs out there who've been frauded by this man, by this scumbag, and...
but I have one thing to say, Tim.
Yeah.
I have thanked you profusely in Sacramento because you helped me so much. Because of my back injury, it was so difficult for me to walk back and forth. And Tim helped me so much. He helped me walk from the car back and forth. And Tim, my appreciation to you again for what you did. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for coming on to the show. This has been another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. Please join us again tomorrow, 10 p.m. Central Time.